Hello YouTube. This is the first in what I hope will be a series of videos about the ways in which various things could be improved positively. One of my passions in life is movies, so that's where I plan to start. One of the recent movies I've seen with an obvious need for improvement is Godzilla. The reason I picked this movie was that there were actually good things about it, but it also failed on a number of points. Today, I present to you 14 ways in which Godzilla could be improved. Number 1. The Aaron Taylor Johnson character is no longer married or a father. I felt that the wife and son characters added very little to the movie in way of plot or excitement. He's still, however, in the military, and he's obsessed with bombs. He's physically fit, but he's also weird and funny. The key is that the audience must relate to this character and care about what happens to him. Women should fancy him, and men should want to either be him or hang out with him. Number 2. Cut all scenes that do not feature the following characters: the father, the son, the Japanese scientist, and the monsters. Every other scene is not advancing our characters and/or is not advancing the plot in the proper way. Number 3. All important aspects of the plot need to be explained to the Aaron Taylor Johnson character, and thus to the audience. One of the major problems I found with this movie was that there were too many scenes where the two people talking already knew what was going on. You always need to have a character in the room that doesn't know what's happening, so things need to be explained to him so that things are thus explained to the audience. Number 4. Aaron Taylor Johnson needs to have more explained to him by Bryan Cranston, so that he's actually useful in fighting the monsters later on. In the original film, when the Bryan Cranston character died, the Aaron Taylor Johnson character basically became useless. He didn't know anything about the monsters, he's not particularly important in any other way. There was really no reason for him to be around from that point on. Number 5. No jump scares. These are massive heavy creatures we're dealing with. They're not capable of sneaking up on anyone. Instead, when the monsters are around, think Jurassic Park. The ground should shake. The sound should be epic. That should be the scary part, not jump scares. Number 6. Every time Godzilla is visible, we should be able to see him and what he is doing clearly. Set some Godzilla scenes during the day if that helps. Never cut away in the middle of a monster fight. That is what we paid to see. Number 7. The camera is God. It should never shake. I hate it when the camera is shaking. It gives people migraines and headaches, and it's just annoying. So, the camera should stay still. Number 8. The camera should never focus on the face of a child. If you need to use children to make the audience care about what's going on the screen, then you're a bad screenwriter and should find other employment. If you've done a good job on the characterization of our hero and the monsters, you don't need to go for cheap emotional tricks like using kids or dogs for sympathy. Number 9. In the climax, there should be no halo jump from the sky with parachutes. I know that's an exciting scene, but it doesn't really add any tension or drama. Instead, have the characters, including the Ken Watanabe character, he's the Godzilla expert after all, you need him there, have them walk into the middle of the city. This should not be a quiet scene. There should be so much noise echoing off the buildings that you can't tell where Godzilla and the other monsters are. You only know that they're around and that they're fighting. That way, when Godzilla actually shows up on camera, it can still be a surprise, but it's not the kind of surprise from silence to sudden noise. Think about how epic and scary that scene would be, with all our heroes walking through this dusty, dark city, and there's so much noise going around, and they never know when the monsters are gonna come out of nowhere fighting and fall on them and crush them. That would be scary. Jumping out of an airplane, it's been done. It's not original to this movie. Number 10. Use actual military tactics. It would not be that hard to find out what the military would actually do in this situation. They would not, for example, ship a nuke on a train. They have lots of nukes in the Navy ready to go. They would also not try and shoot the monsters with pistols and machine guns. They would use tanks, grenades, rocket launchers, mortars, missiles, anything with large explosives, because it would actually be more effective. Number 11. The real issue going on in the climax should be that the monsters have taken several nukes and stockpiled them in the middle of the city. One is armed and can go off at any moment. Aaron Taylor Johnson needs to go in and disarm it, or else millions of people will die. He's a bomb expert, remember? This gives our hero an actual purpose during the climax. Number 12. As great as the human characters are now going to be in this version, the monster fight should still be the best part. When Godzilla defeats each of the other monsters, we as an audience should feel the need and the urge to rise up on our feet and cheer. That's how great these monster fights need to be. Number 13. The other monsters, the non-Godzilla Mutos, they should look like real creatures. The ones we had in the original movie looked like they were made of plastic or just CGI and fake. Basically just take a giant version of a mix of different creatures, just like you did with Godzilla. And that way you have a realistic looking monster that could actually look like it's a real thing. Number 14. This is a bit of a controversial point. It's not essential, but I think it would be a good idea. The Bryan Cranston character is now a female. Don't cast Bryan Cranston, although he did a great job. Instead, cast a well-known woman to play the role. Meryl Streep is ideal in this situation. The idea is to cast a very well-known, good female actress in order to bring in more of a female audience. Also, I think there is not enough badass female characters in movies like this. I think this would be a great opportunity for a female role. Also, don't kill off this character so quickly. I'm okay with her or him dying eventually, but allow them to be the driving force of the plot longer than they were in the original. Have the son sort of just be following along and be the voice of the audience. Then when it's time for the son to take the lead and be the hero, that's when you kill off this character. And you do it in a dramatic, heartbreaking scene that really makes us hate those non-Godzilla monsters. So that completes my list. I feel that if these changes were made, we'd have a substantially improved film that could have been one of the best of the year. If you disagree with any of these points I made, please leave a comment and we can discuss it. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and if you'd like to see more of them, then please subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all the best.